Pardon me. Just out and about in Vegas running some errands. I just went to the corporate offices of Vegas Cannabis Magazine. It's a magazine all about legal recreational marijuana in Las Vegas. And I know one of the women who works for it, and she actually wants me to start writing a column for them. And it doesn't have to be anything about cannabis or marijuana. She said I could write about anything I want. They are just looking for interesting content. So I thought, why not? You know, I used to write a lot. Writing is actually my real passion. And I used to write for a magazine here in town, but it went out of print because, well, you know how that goes. Most of the print media nowadays is going out of business. So I thought, well, it'd be cool to have an excuse to write something every month, you know, even if it is for a cannabis magazine. But anyways, yeah, I'm just out and about running errands. I'm obviously still stuck back here in Vegas, waiting on, oh gosh, it's a long story. Yeah, I know in my last video I was complaining about all the first world problems I was having. And well, yes, I am still having those problems, but I'm getting them knocked down one at a time. You know, I ordered a new laptop, and that's supposed to arrive in a few days. But in the meantime, I actually took my old laptop in to get diagnosed to see what was wrong with it. Because I thought, you know, it only really had this one issue. Other than that, it was working just fine. The issue was the letter R key was malfunctioning. And, oh gosh, it's a long story. I've been dealing with it for probably like a year. First, like the key wouldn't type, and then it typed too much, and then it was causing my system to crash. Anyway, long story short, I thought, let me see if I could just pay to get that laptop fixed, because other than that, it's a great little laptop. And it's 7 years old. You know, say what you will about Apple products. It's a MacBook Air. You know, Apple has this reputation of being kind of snooty, hipster, very expensive. Well, and those are all true, but I got this laptop in 2013, or maybe it was 2014. I guess it was 2014. So 6 years I've had it. And, you know, it only just started malfunctioning recently. So anyway, I took it to get diagnosed for repair, and unfortunately it was going to be like $350 to get it fixed. And I thought, for a 6-year-old laptop, it's probably not worth it. So I have this new laptop on the way, and I'm going back over to PC this time. So I got a Dell XPS 15 coming any day now. And I'll keep the MacBook, even with its quirks. I'll keep it as a backup just in case. So I went and picked up my laptop from the repair shop. And then I went over and met with the Vegas cannabis people. Talked about my new writing gig. And now, well, it's 6 o'clock. It's time to head on home and have something to eat. I'm hungry. But I'm not really, well, you probably know this if you've been watching my videos for any length of time. I'm not much of a cook. I don't like to cook. So when I'm camping, you know, I do all those boil in the bag meals. But when I'm here in the city, I love eating Chipotle. It's a fast casual chain of, it's kind of like Mexican food, but it's, I don't know, it's all like fresh, organic, supposedly, blah, blah, non-GMO. And I don't know, man. I really like it, and I've been eating Chipotle for dinner. No exaggeration. For, gosh, 8 years. I order the same thing every time. Pretty much the same thing for 8 years. Now, granted, I don't eat there every night, only when I'm in town and I'm not going out to dinner with somebody else. So I would estimate I've had Chipotle for dinner probably at least 200 nights a year, maybe 250 nights a year since I quit working at Caesar's Palace, which I quit working at Caesar's Palace in December 2012. So what is that, like 7 years, more than 7 years of eating Chipotle almost every night? Yeah, when I worked at Caesar's Palace, they had an employee dining hall where you could eat for free if you worked there. And it wasn't very good food, but it was free. And I didn't have to cook. So I ate there until I finally quit. And that was actually one of the things that held me back from quitting that job. I was like, oh man, if I quit working here, I'll have to buy groceries or buy food, and oh my gosh. But it all worked out. You know, I spend like, I think $10 a night is what I spend on food, and I try not to really eat all day. I try to intermittent fast. Just have like coffee, and I'll have like string cheese or something. But you know, $10 a day for food, that's really not that bad. That's like $300 a month. So my food budget is pretty low. So anyway, I'm going to stop off at Chipotle to get my usual favorite meal, which is a bowl. I don't like to get a burrito because all they serve is tacos and burritos. And well, tacos aren't quite filling enough for me. And I don't really want a burrito because then I have to eat the friggin' tortilla around it. I don't like those big flour tortillas. I just get the fillings of the burrito in a bowl. So it's kind of like a salad. And I have that for dinner every single night. And I'm still not tired of it. Now, before I go pick up my Chipotle, I'm in the neighborhood. Anyways, I'm going to check on this. We have this giant indoor swap meet. But in the swap meet, there's a little embroidery shop right here. And that's where I get my Wonderhussy hats made. And I need to have a new hat made. So let me see. Friday through Sunday. Oh, okay. I got to use the main entrance. That means I got to pay to go in the swap meet. I should have gone today. Darn it. Okay, 10 to 6. Good to know. Yeah, it's high time I get a new Wonderhussy cap because my old ones are getting kind of funky from washing them too many times. They're kind of saggy. So I guess I'll come here tomorrow and I'll pay the $1 it costs to get in the swap meet just to access the embroidery shop. Okay, but I came over here because there's a post office here and I got to mail some things. Got some thank you cards I got to mail for people who sent me birthday gifts. Because I actually got a lot of awesome birthday gifts. I'll show you guys when I get home a few of the things I got. Like, you guys were really generous. I got some really neat stuff. And from people I know in real life, too. It was a great birthday. I feel a lot better. I was kind of depressed last week when I made this vlog. My little weekly update. But I feel a lot better now, you know? I think most of it was, well, my Aunt Flo came and went. And, well, my birthday passed. And so I got that milestone over with. And now I'm really looking forward to fall. Sorry about the light. It's like the sun's just going down right now. But I'm looking forward to fall because it's finally not a billion degrees. It's only 99 degrees here right now. How about that? Unfortunately, I'm still sitting here waiting on my control arms to be replaced. And I know you're watching this probably going, what the heck could be wrong with your control arms? Why is this taking so long? Well, it's a really long story. And the 4x4 shop I'm working with, it's not fully their fault that it's taking so long. There's a lot of complicating factors. So I'm not trying to throw them under the bus, but at the same time, it's like, I want to go. I'm tired of being in the city. But you know what? Realistically, I can't leave the city yet anyways because, I'm still waiting on that new laptop to get delivered. And I'm still waiting on my new microphone to get delivered. So there's a couple other things holding me back. Anyway, apologies that my windshield is so dirty. But here's just give you a little peek of what it's like in an average neighborhood in kind of suburban Vegas. We're coming up on the intersection of Sahara Avenue, which is one of the main thoroughfares in Vegas. It's a huge road, runs east-west, probably like 6 lanes for much of it. And I think it was actually named like one of the most dangerous roads in America by Dateline, that TV show. I guess because there's a lot of traffic fatalities on it. Because, it's a big, wide road and people go blazing down it. The speed limit's 45, but people go like 60 easy. And if you're a pedestrian, watch out. But yeah, that's Sahara right there. And we're on a street called Decatur. So it's a pretty major intersection. I used to actually live in an apartment back there. I lived there for, I think I lived there for 5 or 6 years. And that despite the fact that while I lived there, and shortly after moving in, somebody broke into my apartment while I was at work and stole all my panties. I'm not kidding, man. I'll never forget it. I came home really late one night from work. I had gone out, had a couple drinks, and came home. I had a bag of fast food with me. I just wanted to chill out and eat my fast food. So I walked into my apartment and went into I had like a little walk-in closet, went in there to take my clothes off, and I noticed I used to keep all my underwear in a, like a little hat box, a round hat box. I didn't have a dresser. I just had these hat boxes on the floor of the closet, and one of them had all my underwear in it. And I noticed that it was empty. And I kind of had a little bit of a buzz from having drinks after work, but I instantly sobered up. Like, okay, yikes, where's all my underwear? It was freaky. So I looked around the apartment and I saw a trail of pine needles leading from my closet to my balcony. I lived on the second floor, but there was a pine tree out front. So somebody had climbed up this friggin' pine tree, jimmied open my sliding glass patio door, gotten in my apartment, took all my underwear, and left. Like, nothing else was missing. My TV, my computer, whatever. Not that I had anything super valuable, but nothing else was missing. Nothing was vandalized. Just all my panties were gone. Okay, now in retrospect, it is kind of funny. But at the time, I was freaked out. I mean, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I went around the apartment, like, looking under the bed, looking in all the closets, making sure nobody was hiding in there, waiting for me. I didn't know. And this was one of the times, and I sure was glad I had my trusty 9mm. I'm not a big gun person, and I don't carry a gun in my day-to-day life, but it was nice having it that night. So I went and got my gun and just held it to my chest all night. I wasn't really able to sleep. I was so scared. But anyway, long story short, I woke up in the morning, or got up in the morning, and I went to the apartment complex manager and told her what happened. And she was like, oh no, you got to go to Home Depot and get a big dowel and put it in your sliding glass door to brace it so that nobody can get in. Okay, well, shouldn't I also file a police report or call the police? Oh, no, you shouldn't call the police. What are they going to do? She basically talked me out of calling the police, I think because she didn't want it to come back bad on the apartment complex, But fortunately, I went to work and told my coworkers about it that night, and they were like, no, call the police, file a police report. So I did, and when I went to the police station to file the report, the woman who took my report actually started laughing, and she apologized. Oh, honey, I'm sorry, I know it's not funny. And by then, enough time had gone by, and I went, it's okay, it is kind of funny, I know, no offense taken. Anyway, I never did find out who stole my panties, but I ended up living in that apartment complex for another, oh gosh, that happened I think it was November 03 that happened, and I had just renewed my lease, 6-month lease, and I didn't realize at that time that you could break a lease legally for something like that. I just thought I would have to pay the lease breaking fee, and I'm frugal, so I thought, I guess I'll stay in this apartment. And I ended up staying there another, like I said, 5-6 years without any problems. But the only clue I ever got as to who might have been the one who did it is one night I was coming out of my front door to go to work, to go down the stairs to my car, and it was dark already because it was winter. It got dark early, and I worked evenings. So I was coming out of my house to go to work, and I saw the unit across the way. These were I think they were 4-unit apartment buildings, buildings that have 4 in them. Well, the guy across the way on the upstairs was standing in his sliding glass door, and the lights were on in his apartment, and it was dark out, so I could see him clear as day. And he was just standing there naked, looking at me. Not like he was doing anything lewd or whatever, but he was just standing there naked looking at me, and you could tell he wanted me to see him. And so I just thought, maybe that's the guy who stole my panties. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe he was just some guy who liked to hang out in his window naked. What do I know? Anyways, whenever I'm in this neighborhood, I think about that. Okay, anyways, we're at Chipotle. Okay, I got a side of chips and I got my bowl. I'll show you guys real quick what it looks like. Oh my god, after 7 years I still start drooling when I even get it. It's so delicious. Oh yeah, yummy. Close this back up though. I'm gonna wait till I get home to eat it. And that's just a veggie bowl. It's I get brown rice, a half a serving because I'm trying to cut carbs, and I get half and half black and pinto beans, fajita vegetables, which is bell peppers and onions sauteed. And then I get pico de gallo, which is tomatoes, onions, and cilantro. And some medium salsa. And romaine lettuce and guacamole. And that's it. I eat the same thing every night for, what did I say, 7 years? And that's no exaggeration. If anyone from Chipotle is watching this, please, reach out to me. I'd be interested in a sponsorship. I'm not kidding when I say I've eaten your food almost every night for the last 7 years. It's crazy. You'd think I would get tired of it, but I don't. And because I eat it so often, I don't want to be that loser that goes to the same Chipotle every night. Because I'll be embarrassed. I don't want them to know, I guess. So I actually I live in Vegas, so pretty big city. There's like 4 or 5 Chipotles within a reasonable distance of my house, 2-3 miles. So I kind of like rotate around. I'll go to this one night, and then I'll go to that one the next night, and then the one I just went to I don't go to very often because it's kind of on the other side of town from where I live. But I happen to be here anyways because of that cannabis magazine, so why not? But yeah, I do. I kind of rotate around. And to be honest, I don't really like this one that much because they're kind of stingy with their portion sizes. Some of them, I'm not going to say which because I don't want them to get in trouble. Some of them seem to be a little bit more liberal with the size of their, portions, which technically isn't good for me calorie-wise. But, oh man, sometimes you're just really hungry and you don't want some. That was, to be honest, kind of on the cheap side. And this particular Chipotle is just kind of like that. But that's okay. I ate a bunch of food yesterday, so I kind of need to cool it today. Okay, so now we're on Sahara Boulevard going east. I live on the east side of the Las Vegas Strip. We have to take this road down across the Vegas Strip to the east side where my house is. So you can see it's not the most glamorous part of town. You might have seen that little Statue of Liberty a ways back. It's a locksmith shop. I'm not sure why they put a Statue of Liberty up, but it's been there for years and years and years. Oh, here's something kind of interesting. There was an old grocery store over there. I don't know if you can even see it. It looks like it's out of business now. But back in the day, I think it was a Raley's, and there was a terrible shooting in it. Some guy walked in with a gun and just shot a bunch of people back in like 1999 or 2000, right before I moved here. Terrible. We're getting closer to the Strip. There's the Stratosphere Tower there off on the left. Gosh, I'm really sorry about my windshield. It's gross. I got to get that cleaned. Whoopsie. Oh, and then here's something kind of interesting. When I very first moved to Vegas 20 years ago, my first apartment was right down this road here. Just tucked away back there. Behind, you can't see the buildings or anything. Behind kind of like that In-N-Out Burger. There's the little apartment complex, and it was nice. I lived there for 1 year and never had a problem. No one stole my panties over there. Now this casino coming up here on the right is called Palace Station, and it's a locals casino. It caters to locals, and typically these local casinos are kind of depressing, and that was the first one, the very first local casino from like the 60s. I think it started out, it was a tent, just like a big bingo tent, but now it's a pretty fancy, I don't know if you can see, but it's a pretty fancy full-service casino with like a movie theater, and there might even be a bowling alley in it. I'm not sure. But we're continuing eastward, eastbound and down, going to the Hussey house. We're about to cross over the Strip here. There she blows, the famous Las Vegas Strip, still looking pretty deserted, I must say. Times are still pretty rough here in Vegas. Oh, here's a really cool place over here on the left. Okay, it's called the Golden Steer Steakhouse, the yellow sign. It's like one of the oldest steakhouses in Vegas. Elvis used to go there, Frank Sinatra, all the old-time stars. And you can still go in there to this day and have dinner and sit in whichever booth you want. They're all labeled with the name of the famous person who used to always sit in that booth. It's a really neat place to go. All right, yeah, here we are on the Strip. Unfortunately, this is kind of there's usually a lot of pedestrians on this part of the Strip, but it's not like the busiest intersection, so it's not that great of a gauge as to, how deserted it is here. But here's a little peep. Yeah, it's pretty dead still. Very sobering. I just heard in the news that the biggest trade show of the year, CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, it's a huge convention. I think something like over 100,000 people come to town for it. 100,000 people. Well, that got canceled. Every year it's in January, beginning of January. And it's a Vegas institution. And it got canceled. Matter of fact, the rodeo got canceled too. There's a huge national finals rodeo in Vegas every December. And it's the only thing that keeps Vegas afloat in December, because traditionally the 2 weeks before Christmas are like the slowest time of year in Vegas. Nobody really goes to Vegas right before Christmas. You know, people are busy baking cookies and, you know, they're saving their money for Christmas. So it's traditionally a very, very slow time for Vegas. But this rodeo came in beginning of December. Oh gosh, like 20 plus years ago, and saved December for all these people in Vegas. You know, now that rodeo is something to see. These cowboys come from all over America, and they wear their finest Sunday best, their biggest belt buckles, their biggest 10-gallon hats. Everybody's all duded up and strutting around drinking Jack Daniels and Crown Royal, and oh man, rodeo in Vegas is a trip. And I'm actually really bummed that it got canceled this year, because I was hoping to go and make a video about it, because that rodeo is super interesting. Okay, now we're going towards downtown, which is my little neighborhood. And all these little houses here were built back in the 40s and 50s. It was the first housing tract in all of Las Vegas, actually. And it was actually really cool. One time, this older woman came by my house, drove by, and, you know, I happened to be on the driveway, and she said, "Oh, hey, I grew up in this house." "What? Come on in." I invited her in, and oh, it was really neat. She showed me all around the house which parts had been added on since she lived there, because there's been considerable work done to my house since 1943 when it was built. But yeah, all these homes are 1940s tract homes. It's crazy. Crazy to think of what Vegas was like back then. Actually, it wasn't very pleasant. I saw an old newspaper ad from those days for this neighborhood advertising the homes here. And the big selling point in the ad was, "No colored people or Jews allowed." I mean, I don't think they said it in those terms, but that's basically what they meant. I mean, you know how Vegas was when the mob ran things. The mafia was, well, they were not exactly open-minded about stuff like that. Dark in here. I wanted to get here before it was too dark so I could show you all my birthday presents, but looks like I kind of missed the boat. That's okay. We'll just turn on some lights, and you'll be able to see. Okay, so here's my fabulous birthday haul, and I'll go into a little bit of detail in a minute, but first I want to show you all these balloons and stuff. Gloria did that for me. It was so nice of her. I came into my office on the morning of my birthday, and she had put this happy birthday banner across the top, and then she hung up balloons all over the office. Sorry, I'm laughing because I just realized you guys probably just saw that thing. Well, anyways, I'll explain that later. Anyway, here's all the gifts I got, this is all the gifts I got for my birthday. Amazing bounty of stuff. I mean, I don't want to bore everybody by going over everything piece by piece, but I got stuff to take care of my car, Armor All wipes. I got a bunch of birthday cards, a bunch of coffee, cool little t-shirt, American flags, this really neat handmade mirror. Look at this. Above the huss, behold the wonder. It's a mirror that was made for me when I'm camping, so I can hang it on my rig and do my makeup. And a cool new, really pretty Hawaiian bikini, some really useful hard drives, external hard drives. Oh, look at these stickers. Somebody made me these awesome stickers. How cool are those? Love it. I got a couple new blank hats, so I can take those to the embroidery shop. You know, I'll probably just make that one plain Wonderhussy. But then this one, I got the scrambled eggs, so I thought it might be cool to write like USS Wonderhussy on that one. Some really interesting books. This Death Valley book is really old. I think it's a collector's item. This one here is about the loneliest road in America. And then my mom sent me this one. It looks really interesting about these kids that grew up in Bolinas, California, a little hippie town. A bunch of Wonder Woman comics. Oh, this is cool. This is a wool blanket to use for camping and stay warm this winter. And then because I mentioned that my floaty busted, I got a ton of floaties. I have a lifetime supply of floaties now. I'll never need a floaty again. Really cool Wonder Woman breast cancer support t-shirt. cute little American flag dress, bandana, a new cook stove so that I don't have to worry about not being able to find camp fuel. And oh gosh, just a whole bunch of really neat stuff. Some really cool gift cards, little snacks, food. Oh, this one package even had a little gift baggie for Fred with some little dog treats in it, and a gift bag for Noonie with some treats for her in it. It was like so cute. Just loved it. Anyway, this video is already long enough, so I'm just gonna wrap that up now. And well, I don't want my dinner to get cold besides, but the thing that I was laughing about is right there, and well, it was part of an art project. I'll leave it at that. I'll talk about that some other time. For now, well, it's time to sign off and have dinner, and I'm going to use my old laptop that I picked up at the repair shop. I decided against paying the $3.50. I'm just going to deal with its quirks, and I think it has enough juice left in it to edit one last video, which will be this one. And then, well, by the time I get around to editing stuff for next week, my new laptop should be here, so hopefully I can figure out how to use it, because it's a PC, not a Mac. I'm going back to PC after all these years. Wish me luck.